The love of Dungeons and Dragons and comics goes together like peanut butter and jelly, sprinkles on ice cream, or ackee and sawfish. The last one is good, you just have to take my word for it. It is therefore unsurprising that D&D fans have tried to define their favorite comic book characters via the alignment system. It is, after all, a pretty good description for the behavior for fictional characters. To that end, many people have put their characters in what I call an alignment matrix. Not that kind of matrix, this kind of matrix. Alignment matrices are for the three people who don't already know, the way that 9 alignments in D&D are typically represented. When it comes to matrices with comic book characters, be it this one, or that one, or this other one thing you would notice is that no matter who makes the matrix, the Joker is always placed as being chaotic evil. In this video, I will explain why that isn't the case. The Joker really requires no introduction. He's one of, if not the most iconic DC villain, a fact that was definitely cemented by the performance of the late, great Heath Ledger. He's a highly intelligent criminal who is as cruel as he is creative in the way he operates. He uses what could be described as extreme out-of-the-box thinking to pull off heists that other people would deem too risky or even downright impossible. The Joker has proven himself an intellectual match for the Dark Knight with the aid of an IQ that is easily genius level and a myriad of ever-changing psychoses that leave even the Batman confounded regularly. The Joker is no slouch in combat either. He seems to be proficient in just about every weapon known to man, a fact that has had some incarnations of the Crown Prince of Crime equaling and even besting a Dark Knight in combat. That would mean that he's a man with an IQ most likely greater than 150 and a physicality on par with a UFC world champion. However, with all of his strength, the Joker is still just a man whose resources are utterly dwarfed by that of his nemesis. The Joker doesn't own a company so large that he can hide an entire weapons R&D department. He seems to just be an overly charming lunatic with a predilection for violence. But with all that said, let's pull it back to D&D for a minute and ask ourselves, what is chaotic evil? Well, according to the 5th edition Player's Handbook, a chaotic evil creature acts with arbitrary violence spurred by their greed, hatred, or bloodlust. Demons, red dragons, and orcs are chaotic evil. Well, thanks a lot, 5th edition, for that in-depth answer. Let's keep this for a minute while I go seek an ancient magical tome for greater insight. Yep. Alright, here we go. According to the 3.5 edition Player's Handbook, chaotic evil, also known as a destroyer, a chaotic evil character does whatever his greed, hatred, and lust for destruction drive him to do. He's hot-tempered, vicious, arbitrary violent, and unpredictable. If he is simply out for whatever he can get, he is ruthless and brutal. If he's committed to the spread of evil and chaos, he's even worse. At first that sounds exactly like the Joker, but let's keep reading. Thankfully his plans are haphazard and any group he joins or forms are poorly organized. Typically chaotic evil people can be made to work together only by force, and the leader lasts only as long as he can thwart attempts to topple or assassinate him. The demented sorcerer pursuing mad schemes of vengeance and havoc is chaotic evil. Chaotic evil is sometimes called demonic because demons are the epitome of chaotic evil. It's that last part that is really telling. His plans are haphazard and poorly organized. Now the Joker's plans are definitely haphazard, at least at first glance. To say that the Joker is poorly organized is to deny the genius that resides within that fractured mind. While his plans may seem haphazard, they're only that way to the ones such as ourselves that are bound by logic as we understand it. Now let's try to look at this another way. Let's see if we have any precedent for what the Joker is. To that end, we're going to take a look at the evil humanoids in our 5th edition Monster Manual. I feel it's important to do this because it will give us a sense of what a defined chaotic evil character looks like. So, reading through this, alright, okay, between all of our monsters we have orcs, gnolls, zvarts, lizard folk, and werewolves as being chaotic evil. At first it would seem that yeah, of course they are chaotic evil humanoids in 5e, but then you notice a trend. Let's look at these creatures in depth for a moment. First up we have gnolls and the lizard folk. The brightest amongst them top out at a whopping 11 intelligence with the Flind and the Lizard King. For the orcs, the highest intelligence you'll find is the Orog, with an int score of 12. These guys are kind of like your Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings. Actually, come to think of it, the D&D orcs are the Uruk-hai, so I guess that makes them the Uruk-hai's Uruk-hai? Then there are the Zvarts. Wait a minute, this can't be right. Somehow, despite the Kobold level of intelligence from your typical Zvart, this race is at the top with the Zvart speaker boasting an intelligence of 13. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but in this little example, we can say that the Zvarts are actually the smartest chaotic evil creatures in 5e. Yay? And that, my friends, pretty much covers all the chaotic evil humanoids, except for one, the Drow Arachnomancer. She is chaotic evil and highly intelligent, and at first glance would seem to give credence to the idea that the Joker could function as chaotic evil. But here's why I don't count the Arachnomancer. Let's change our search for a second and look for evil humanoids that have intelligence scores. Let's say to represent the Joker genius, we'll look for those with an int score of 15 and above. Let's look this up for a second. Okay, we have quite a few humanoids that actually meet this criteria, and they are Gloomweaver, Soulmonger, Duergar, Hobgoblin, Githyanki, Githzerai, Nagpa, and more kinds of drow that you can shake a stick at. So with all of those names, want to guess which ones are chaotic evil? Yep, only the Drow Arachnomancer, and with all the rest being neutral or lawful evil. And to give an idea why the Arachnomancer is chaotic evil, let's have a word from our favourite wizard Mordenkainen. Drow spellcasters who seek to devote themselves wholly to the Spider Queen sometimes walk the dark path of the Arachnomancer. By offering up bodies and soul to love, they give tremendous power and a supernatural connection to the ancient spiders of the demon web pits, channeling magic from that dread place. So there, the only chaotic evil humanoid with high intelligence is one that it does so under the supernatural influence of the Abyss, a realm of pure unfiltered chaos. Now that we've set the precedent, let's go back to Heath Ledger's Joker for a minute. After the events of the film, one of the suspects of the Joker, as usual, would be locked up in Arkham Asylum. Let's say the Joker escapes his imprisonment after 2 years. The Clown Prince is now out and back on the streets, ready to create absolute pandemonium. But after seeing the destruction that he caused, who would be willing to work with him? The answer is no one. No one would want to work with a person who is known to murder his own employees at a whim and blow things up without rhyme or reason. And to top it all off, he burned money. Money, the driving force behind crime itself. So the Joker gets out, no one works with him, he has no money for acid, knives, guns, bombs, helicopters, ingredients for Joker venom, not even makeup, nothing. So as much as I absolutely love Mr. Ledger's portrayal, it is a terrible idea to think that this is how the Joker could operate over the long term. It's best to take the Dark Knight story and view it as a summary. It essentially boils down how the Joker operates and puts it on an accelerated timetable for the pacing of the film. If the Joker actually operates like that regularly, he quickly finds himself as a man with almost no resources, some silly face paint, and a knife. Someone at the back could stop in an afternoon. So how does the Joker actually operate in Gotham? How does he survive and maintain a reign of terror for years upon years? Well, the first reason is the ridiculously low security standards at Arkham. I mean, seriously, there's a breakout at that place at least once a month. I'm pretty sure Deadshot takes contracts from inside, gets out, then kills the people. But if we're being real, the answer is his gang. The Joker must maintain a large number of people who are loyal to him and are willing to back a leader who inspires abject terror in anyone who crosses them. And how does the Joker keep said gang together? Before you think it's because everyone is afraid of him, I'll stop you right there. It's not that. It can't be that. Sorry to burst your bubble, but while the Joker is at the top of the heap, it's still a heap. While the Joker is undeniably the craziest criminal in Gotham, he isn't the only one, and the others, they're no pushover. We're talking about people like Carmine Falcone, Black Mask, and Mr. Cobblepot the Penguin himself. Make no mistake, while none of these men are as formidable as the Joker individually, they run criminal operations that make them more than a force to be reckoned with. And more importantly, none of these guys are afraid of the Joker, at least not in a typical sense. Would they be willing to fight the Joker 1v1 on even footing? No way in hell. But would they be willing to find the Joker by himself with 50 goons and riddle him from 10 meters away? In a heartbeat. No matter how you look at it, for the Joker to operate in Gotham for an extended period of time, he needs a gang. A loyal gang, a large gang, and even more importantly, business associates that can expect a reasonable rate of return on investment, so to speak. At the end of the day, the Joker, despite his cleverness, physical prowess, and insanity, has to at least to some extent work like your average crime boss, providing those loyal to him with the things they want to stay loyal, or else he would find himself dead in one of Gotham's many crime alleys. What I'm really trying to say here is not that the Joker isn't chaotic evil, is that he can't be chaotic evil. The frailty of being human means that to operate, he absolutely requires the backing of a stable, well-organized criminal enterprise. I would argue that the Joker is in fact the worst kind of evil to be found on the Matrix. No, not that one. The Joker is capable of running a stable criminal organization, and therefore must be a force of order among his subordinates. However, he is also a self-declared agent of chaos. He professes to never have a plan, but orchestrates and carries out intricate and well-thought-out tactics and strategies that are well beyond even the Batman sometimes. He clearly has a rule never to kill Batman, but brutally murders Jason Todd, the second Robin. It's reliable enough that Lex Luthor has worked with him, but it's crazy enough that Gotham supervillains routinely avoid him. The Joker represents a dichotomy of personality that is a near-perfect encapsulation of what is, in my opinion, the most insidious alignment. He's a form of evil that uses rules whenever they want, however they want, acknowledging agreements made and self-principles only as far as to get what they want from whoever that has it, and then to fulfill whatever goal is immediate. The Joker is in fact the most dangerous kind of evil. The Joker is neutral evil.